Welcome to ASE Tutorials. Today, I'm going to draw a bird. I'm starting with the sketch layer. To start, draw a small circle in the upper third corner of the canvas. This will be the head. Next, draw a large oval for the body, starting from the middle of the small circle. Draw a curved line next to the small circle, drawing a semicircle in the process. This is the wing. Draw two fairly long lines on the side bottom of the oval. The second line angled towards the first line. Make sure to connect the lines together by a third curved line. Now you've drawn the feather tail. Afterwards, draw two parallel lines springing off the bottom of the oval. Draw a perpendicular line, and then draw two curved lines sprouting from that line, doing the same with the other foot. These are the toes of the feet of this bird. Don't forget the third toes on both feet, pointing the other direction. Now, it's time for the beak. Draw one straight line from the head and add a second line to form a triangle. To complete the beak, draw a third line connecting the two lines. Draw a circle for the eyes. Draw over your pre-existing lines to darken and thicken them, especially if you're using a pressure brush. For the wing, draw tall and skinny U's across the width of the wing. These are top feathers. Draw some lines starting in between the U's, ending at the bottom of the wing. Draw two lines down and across the tail feathers. Add more U's on the breast of the bird, followed by more lines in between, just like the wing. These are the body feathers. Draw a few more U's right underneath the head circle, closing off the head from the rest of the body, adding more lines underneath. To add more detail to the feathers, add a line in the middle of each feather. If your bird is not flying, like mine isn't, he's got to be sitting somewhere. To add a branch, start from the feet and add a line with twists and turns. The branch can look however you like, as long as the end of the branch is thinner than the root of the branch. Draw some jagged and curved lines to add texture. If you're using a digital art program, create a new layer, reducing the opacity of the sketch layer to 30 to 40%. Utilize the zoom function as necessary. The zoom especially helps to control your brush strokes. As you're drawing over your sketch layer, don't be afraid to shorten your strokes and keep the pace slow and steady. When drawing the feathers, draw them as curved or angled as you want. I personally like to stylize realism, so how you want this bird to look is ultimately up to you. Draw the perimeter of the feet around the wireframe of the sketch. You don't need to make the feet as big as I did. When drawing the toes, draw them coming to a point at the tip, like talons. Now, follow the guides for the branch, having the back toes gripping the back of the branch by incorporating the toe line as part of the branch. Finally, add some circles and jagged lines to the surface of the branch, adding as much texture as you want. If you're a digital artist and you're using a digital art program, these tutorials are going to be slightly more helpful than if you're drawing physically, but the color advice still holds up. We'll create a new layer and place it underneath the line art layer. First, pick a medium shade of orange and fill in the head. Don't worry about coloring in the lines too much. Next, pick a shade of a light blue and color the top feathers of the body and the wing. Choose a shade of dark brown and color the bottom of the body and the wing, and the top feather of the tail. Take the same shade of orange and color underneath the top feather of the tail. Take a medium gray and fill in the feet, the beak, and the eye. Hide the line art layer and proceed to clean up the color by filling in the white spaces and maintaining the shapes. I recommend starting with orange and drawing the perimeter of the head. Do the same with the blue for the body. Feel free to draw some lines up into the orange to separate the feathers. Just don't forget to go over the feathers in orange again to sharpen the blue lines. Using the brown, continue to fill in the coloring, repeating the same steps to separate the blue feathers. For the wing, draw a brown line from the corner of a blue feather up into part of the orange. Take the medium gray and follow the wing line down into the brown, and adding feather lines at the bottom of the wing to add definition. I recommend using the eraser to clean up the edges of the bird. The eraser tool is often overlooked by beginners in favor of adding more lines, when it should be considered a brush of its own. Here is more of me separating the blue feathers apart using the brown. Use the brown to clean up the tail, and doing the same with the orange. Take the medium gray and draw some lines coming down from the bottom of the wing through the tail, creating feather lines. Clean up the feet using the medium gray, thickening the feet. Do the same with the beak. Create another layer underneath the bird color layer. This will be used for the branch. Feel free to unhide the line art for this next part. Take a dark shade of brown and fill in the branch, following the line art guides. Use the eraser to erase any part of the branch that is drawn past the back toe. On the bird color layer, grab a lighter shade of orange and add lines on top of the head. We are adding lighting to the bird. Proceed with the same steps with the lighter blue on the wing, on the same side as the light orange. Use a lighter brown to follow the same steps on the top feather of the tail and the bottom feathers of the wing. Take the same shade brown on the bird and use that to add definition to the branch. I like to draw one jagged line running across the branch and then several shorter lines. Using a light gray, add lines to the back of the feet and toes, facing the same direction as the other lighter colors. Don't forget to add this color to the beak and the wing, as well as the eye. Feel free to draw a sun in the upper right corner of the canvas. This is your light source. Now we start on shading. Use a darker shade of blue and draw lines alongside the bottom of the bird, opposite of the lighting. Grab the dark brown branch color and proceed with adding lines to the bottom of the brown portion of the bird, including the top feather of the tail. Find a shade of red-orange and draw more lines on the bottom of the head, plus the bottom of the orange portion of the tail. With a darker shade of gray, draw lines alongside the edge of the toes, beak, and wing, opposite of the lighter gray. With a darker shade of gray, draw lines alongside the edge of the toes, beak, and wing, opposite of the lighter gray. Use the dark gray to separate the toes. Finally, use an even darker shade of brown and add definition to the underside of the branch. Include the highest concentration of lines beneath the bird, as this is the shadow cast by the bird. Feel free to draw as many jagged lines as you like. And that's it! How to color a non-specific cartoon bird. If you have any suggestions on what I should cover next on how to draw, make sure to leave a comment. Until next time on ASE Tutorials.